Looking at some of the best small school sleepers in this year's draft class, let's start it out with Caleb Murphy, a defensive end out of Ferris State. Sent the NCAA record this year with 25 and a half sacks, also tied the record for 39 tackles for loss. That's across all levels. This season, half of Murphy's tackles were tackles for loss. He was a big part in Ferris State's back-to-back D2 national championships over the past 2 seasons. This year, Murphy was the first non-FBS player to win the Ted Hendricks Award. He was also the GLIAC Defensive Player of the Year, a first-team All-American recipient, and the Glenn Upshaw Award winner. Originally transferred from Grand Valley State in 2 seasons at Ferris State. 40 sacks, 60 and a half tackles for loss, 156 tackles, and 8 forced fumbled. Had a really good performance at the Shrine Bowl throughout the week at practice. Really held his own in one-on-ones. I think that put him on the map in terms of being NFL ready. He could be a draft pick this year. Shepherd University, a member of the PSAC, they're down in West Virginia. They have 3 NFL draft prospects this year, highlighted by their quarterback Tyson Bagent, the NCAA's all-time passing touchdown leader with 159. He had 4,580 yards this year, 41 touchdowns, led to him being invited to the Senior Bowl and the Combine. Really a high-volume passer, a guy with video game numbers, similar to some guys we talked about in the FCS video. Bagent has a lot of buzz, could be a day 3 or priority undrafted free agent. How about his right tackle, Joey Fisher? Could have some offensive guard versatility at the next level. He's a guy who's a finisher, though. Really strong finisher. Had a good week down at the NFLPA Bowl. Led to him being invited to the Senior Bowl. And then finally, Shepherd's running back, Ronnie Brown, an elusive ball carrier who had 1,863 yards, 19 touchdowns this year on the ground. Also has some upside as a pass catcher, as you're seeing in these clips. 589 yards and 5 touchdowns. Shepherd has a good program down in the PSAC. All 3 of these guys are right on that verge of day 3 / priority free agent guys. I think all 3 will be in camps and could look to be on practice squads or rosters next year. Keilahn Harris, a receiver prospect out of Oklahoma Baptist University, coming in at 6', 180. Really exploded the last 2 seasons. Crazy numbers since that 2021 season. In 2021, 92 receptions, 1,084 yards, 16 touchdowns. Matched it this year with 80 receptions, 1,050 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Was down at the NFLPA Bowl and the Hula Bowl. Love the way that he runs this corner post from the slot right here for a touchdown. Was a playmaker for Oklahoma Baptist. Is going down to the Cowboys Dallas Day next week for local prospects. Means the Cowboys have their eye on him. Definitely someone to keep your eye on. Emanuel Wilson out of Fort Valley State, a big physical back at 6'1", 220 pounds. This season, 1,252 yards, 15 touchdowns. The SEAC's Offensive Player of the Year. First 1K rusher at Fort Valley State since 2004. Began his career out at Johnson C. Smith as a freshman. Was the CIA Rookie of the Year in 2019. Had over 1,000 yards. Impressed down at the NFLPA Bowl and the HBCU Combine. I always like big physical backs who also have some home run threat ability and also that upside and ability to grow and evolve as a pass catcher. Emanuel Wilson is definitely someone I would have in camp. Let's look at Andrew Farmer, a defensive lineman out of Laing. 17 and a half sacks and 44 tackles for loss over the past 2 seasons. This year in only 8 games, 25 tackles for loss, had the most tackles for loss per game in the country, and 6 sacks to go with it. Was down at the HBCU Combine and the Hula Bowl. At the HBCU Combine, 4'7", 240, 38-inch verts, and a 9'10" broad jump. Similar to Caleb Murphy, another D2 defensive lineman that's definitely going to be in camp somewhere and could look to stick on a practice squad or roster. Darel Middleton from Bethel, our only player from the NAIA and also our only player with SEC experience. 2 ends of the spectrum right there. Darel Middleton coming in at 6'7", 290. Started his career out at East Mississippi Community College. Went on to Tennessee where he saw legit playing time. He's from Knoxville, Tennessee. Faced off against Landon Dickerson and that national championship Alabama team. Also spent a little bit of time at West Virginia before landing at Bethel this year. 19 tackles and 3.5 sacks. Not going to blow you away with his stats. I think really it's 6'7", 290 and his experience that really catch your eye. Let's dig into some of these D2 offensive linemen, starting out with the GLIAC Offensive Lineman of the Year, Quinton Barrow from Grand Valley State, coming in at 6'5", 322, played at the Shrine Bowl, looked a little bit more comfortable at guard. I think that's where he projects for the next level. Also at the Shrine Bowl, Jacky Chen, a 3-year starter at pace, coming in at 6'4", 302 pounds. Did a good job protecting the NE10 MVP Carlton Aiken, Pace's quarterback, another NFL draft prospect this year from the D2 ranks. Then finally, Jake Witt, offensive tackle out of Northern Michigan. You might have seen him in The Athletic this week. Dane Brugler wrote a great piece about Witt. Coming in at 6'7", 302 pounds, was playing basketball at Michigan Tech in 2018, came back to football in 2020, really had an outstanding pro day, posted a 4.8 940, 37-inch vert, and a 10.3 broad. Finishing up the offensive line portion, Brent Laing from Minnesota Duluth. He's at right tackle in these clips, but down at the Shrine Bowl, he spent a lot of time at guard and center. And center in particular really catches my eye for Laing. This year's center class isn't the strongest, and I think he could be a riser in that center position. A guy who does a good job finishing his blocks. Love the versatility he has. At 6'4", 304, I think he has prototypical size for inside. Could take a few years to develop. Definitely a guy who I think is a practice squad candidate. Probably a priority undrafted free agent, but certainly someone who could wind up being an NFL offensive lineman. Let's wrap with some quick hitters on the defensive side of the ball. Looking at Michael Ayers, linebacker out of Ashland. Darrious Gaines, corner out of Western Colorado, and DJ Stirgus, corner out of Missouri Western. Let me know any small school prospects you guys have your eyes on.